political team now. And Rebecca Berg, to you first, because this has been, we've seen over the last 2 days, just terrible stories where you've had the assassination of the Russian ambassador to Turkey, the killing of so many people by a truck attack at a Berlin Christmas market. And Donald Trump's team won't say whether he's received the presidential daily briefing today. We know that Mike Pence has. What kind of concerns is this raising for people that at a time like this, if you can't be guaranteed that he's taken the PDB, maybe there's an issue?
Well, Donald Trump has defended his decision so far not to take it every day, Brianna, saying that he is a smart guy, he doesn't need the same information every day, and he isn't president yet, so he might be right at this stage that he doesn't need it every single day. But the reason the presidential daily briefing is so important is that you don't necessarily need that information on the day that you're given it, but if there is some sort of crisis that occurs or some sort of national emergency that you have to deal with and you don't have time in that moment to get up to speed on whatever is happening, whatever issue you're dealing with, that's where the presidential daily becomes very valuable. And so if there is a situation where Donald Trump needs to respond to some sort of crisis at a moment's notice, he needs to know as much as possible to be able to make those decisions in real time. And that's why it does become important once you are sworn in as president.
David Swerdlick, you hear the team not answering that question, which you could take one of two ways. One, maybe he hasn't had the briefing today, or maybe his folks who are speaking to that don't know, which is also another issue.
Yeah, we don't know for sure, but really at this point in the transition, it should be a much easier question to answer. When my Washington Post colleagues Adam Entis and Greg Miller first reported on this last month, it was easier for the Trump team to defend not taking the briefing every day, right? They had just started the transition. There were a couple of months to go until Inauguration Day. Now we're a month away from inauguration, and we're in the midst of all these crises. And for him, as Rebecca said, not to be able to confidently state, him being President-elect Trump, that he is up to speed on all of the nuances of these issues does raise questions, no question.
Donald Trump's spokesman, Sean Spicer, Manu, saying that the terrorism response by the president-elect once he comes into the White House is going to be, quote, swift and fierce. I just spoke to Congressman Darrell Issa, who's supporting Donald Trump, and he talked about that as well, and he said that he's going to take the fight to ISIS. But you try to get into particulars, and there's nothing there.
Yeah, I don't think the Trump team really knows what the strategy is. They've talked in generalities, and you can't just go and carpet bomb a city in the Middle East and hope to deal with the ISIS issue. It's a much more complex, complicated war, strategic war that needs to actually happen. I think that actually speaks to the problem of Donald Trump not having a press conference since late July. He is not explaining in detail to the press, to the American public, exactly what he would do on such a critical issue of important national security of this country, and while he may have a few interviews here and there, he has not detailed that. And so his own party has a difficult time responding because they don't really know what his strategy is.
They're trying to extrapolate and keep it vague, it seems.
Bree, going all the way back to April when President-elect Trump gave that first major foreign policy address, he said three things that didn't all mesh together. He said he didn't want to tip his hand. He said he was going to get rid of ISIS very, very quickly. And he also said that he knew more than the generals in that speech. So these things are now sort of working together or not working together in a way that has people asking questions.
But one place where we can maybe find that out is the confirmation hearings on Capitol Hill when General James Mattis, for one, testifies before the Senate Armed Services Committee. They better have answers, otherwise senators will not be satisfied.
I want to talk about potential conflicts of interest with Donald Trump. We're seeing an example of one. This report that the Trump family now distancing themselves from a fundraising event happening in January was supposed to be the day after inauguration, after the press was reporting that attendees could get a meeting with President Donald Trump for $1 million. This was a group, a charity called Opening Day, and it is associated with Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump. They're now distancing themselves, but this is the very thing, and you pointed this out to me, that he railed against Hillary Clinton for.
Exactly. So Donald Trump attacked her for pay to play, in his words, with the Clinton Foundation. And now this isn't even the first problem that he and his family have had with potential conflicts of interest or blatant conflicts of interest. Just a week or two ago, Ivanka Trump was participating in a fundraiser for charity. giving access to her with a luncheon, offering that up as the award, and they had to take down that charitable contest because of concerns about pay-to-play, pay for access. And now, of course, there are questions about their business dealings, how those will fit in with the administration. Those have not been fully answered or even answered in short by the campaign or by the transition team yet. So we're still really waiting for them to work out these issues.